And good evening. This is Dr. Louella Ayoka with my medical moments. It's good to see you all. I wanted to wait and see if anyone will come in and see if I can answer any questions that anyone may have. So we shall see. So, streaming live here, and I'm hoping that you are enjoying all of the topics that are being presented. I have a lot that I will be talking about, just slowly going through them one by one and seeing what people think and how they respond. As these topics are, I think, are very important, especially with our weather. We just went through the weather and how cold it's been. It's been so cold out here. Just wanted to make sure that we were all protected and that we are able to have a good transition as we go from the cold weather to the warm weather. A lot of accidents, a lot of problems occur when there is cold weather. It's just something about the wintertime where it brings a lot of accidents. Of course, it brings a lot of sickness. It brings a lot of, we see a lot of patients with, nasal congestion and sore throats and body aches and fevers and chills and earaches and sneezing and coughing and all of these what we call constitutional symptoms. So the winter just brings on a lot of accidents. More accidents can occur. Like I said, slip and falls. We have so many, motor vehicle accidents. People just tend to be more depressed during the winter. So you see a lot more mental health problems. It's just something about when the warm weather ends, we get a lot more anxiety, a lot more frustration. There's a lot more problems, of course, economically because the holidays are here. And during the holidays, people now, because of the economic hardships, they aren't able to make ends meet. So that brings on more anxiety, more depression, more exacerbates things like bipolar. Um, you got you just got all kinds of problems during the cold weather. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm covering the topics that I think would be very helpful. We had so much snow. I don't know how much you got, but I'm hearing various amounts of snow in different places of ice. People are saying that they're still digging out. They're still recovering from the effects of the storm. And I hope that you and your household are safe and have been safe, and you've been enjoying this moment with your family. This is the time where you can connect a little more, maybe even play games, talk more. Some of the times where you don't get, or redeeming those times where you do get, because people were because of all of the work, and now you get a little downtime, so you get a little more chance with your grandchildren, you get a little more time with your children, you may have more time with your spouse, and you can reconnect and rebuild. And so I just think that it's a very important time, and you can make the most of that time. Hopefully you can see me better, because I just made it better. But make the most of that time with your family and your friends. And that's what's the nice part about the cold weather. It gives a nice social component as well. It becomes a lot more intimate. I know a lot of people, they go snowing and skiing, snowing. Lord have mercy. I mean, skiing and snow tubing now. So that's the kind of the winter recreation. You have all the snowmobiles and that kind of activity. And then people tend to stay in like log cabins, and they have the fireplace. So it makes it more time for reading, which is good for mental stimulation, good for keeping your brain active. So I don't know. It's just, the negative aspects of the winter time versus the positive aspects of it. So, like we said, the negative aspects, we see more accidents, of course, more sicknesses, more disease, more depression, more mental illness, more economic hardships, more financial hardships. And then on top of that, we see positive aspects of it, because you get more time with your family, you get more time with your friends, you get more time to connect with each other, you have more time to be able to, do the things that you enjoy doing with close intimacy. Because now you got to be indoors and you got to be closer. And then, it's something, because if you think about it, the cold weather actually drives people together, because people now come together because they have to be warm. So it's like a warm factor, which is nice. So you can kind of cuddle up and cuddle up under the blanket. Um, and one of the things I've noticed is that I see a lot of babies. If you notice, a lot of babies are born in like September, because pregnancies happen during the winter times, like in January. If you calculate it and you think about it, pregnancy happens in January. And then because people are now more intimate, they're close, they need something to do, and they get a chance to talk, they get a chance to bond. So those are some of the also positive things if you never thought about it. before, that is something else positive to think about. Then we can think about the positivity of the holidays, because the holidays do bring about some cheer and laughter, and also bonding and giving, and those positive aspects of the wintertime as well, in some of the, in our different aspects of our religion. So I don't want to make it all sad, because we don't want to make this just sad and make it sound like it's like a bummer to have snow, because some of you live in the snow and some of you live in cold places that are all around the world. So, of course, yeah, that definitely will rain, and I don't want to knock where you live or say that you live in a worse part than I live, or someone else lives who lives in a warmer climate, or maybe they live in a varying climate, because all climates are good for the people and it's what you like. So, I mean, I just listened to someone who said that they enjoy walking in the snow and they are so excited, and they actually came out because they missed the snow. I thought that was pretty interesting, and that's good. That's good because you get a lot of benefits of it. Of course, now we have a water source, which is water, we know is important. Going back to that again, water is important for our body. Our body is made up of 60% water, so definitely we have to drink it. And so the snow definitely brings on more. That precipitation definitely brings that on. And when the warming effect occurs, of course, we have better rivers, better oceans, that kind of thing. So, again, more aspects to think about, more things to consider when we have all of the different aspects of when the weather changes from the heat to the cold. Now, a lot of people now, you had your New Year's resolution and you're getting ready to start, and you're back in the gym now, preparing for the summertime, when people want to now show all of the great benefits of being in the winter and exercising and preparing their bodies, and what they, eat and what they take in. And one of the things, I know I had somebody and she was saying that she was a little lazy around the holidays, so she didn't get a chance to exercise enough. And, we gave some tips and tricks about what to do. I did talk about the taste challenge, and the taste challenge was pretty good. Hope you tried it. I think that that was a really good option. Just seeing how making, even if you made a little dish of something, right? With the alternatives. So you made a little dish of that, something with alternatives, and you tasted that, and then made a little dish with the non-alternatives, and see which one tasted better. Hmm? That way you can see if you did need that extra sugar, or if you did need that extra, salt that was in it. But then you have the no salt brand versus the salt brand, and you try those in whatever you're doing in your broccoli or your salad, or what have you use salt in. I don't know how many of us use salt in their salad. Okay, I think salt in the salad would probably taste a little off. I don't know. This, I guess I use salad dressing. I don't know about you, but I like olive oil and vinegar. I like oil and vinegar on my salad. Why? Because it tastes good, but also the health benefits of it. And the nice part about it is it's not so thick and, rich. And I know that it doesn't have all of the extra fillers in it, or all the extra cholesterol in it, or all of the extras in it, the processed and all of the dyes, or whatever the case. So olive oil is pretty pure, as well as vinegar. So that's kind of my favorite. But some people do put salt on their salad, and I guess I would have to find that out, if you were one of those people that put salt in your salad. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that, you have a dish where it requires salt, and what I was saying was that you would take the regular salt, like, the regular iodized salt, Or you would use one of the substitutes, like they have the no salt brand, but they also have like the some of them have the pink salt, I think is one, Himalayan. They have other variations that's supposed to be a lot healthier options for you. And one of the things I know that one of the salts have, one has sodium, but the other one has potassium. And one of the things you want to know is that very interesting fact is that potassium is a lot of people who have hypertension do have low potassium. So having a little bit more potassium, and they tend not to eat potassium. They tend not to tend to have a lot of problems with their potassium regulation. And I noticed that with my patients, and I tell them to go and kind of ramp up their potassium and tear down, lower their sodium. And then I see a better improvement in their blood pressure and their blood pressure regulation. And no, you don't want to overdo it on the potassium, but you definitely don't want to, overdo it on sodium. So anyway, with the taste test and you're putting it on the salad or the dish. Did I say salad? Okay. You're putting it on a dish and you taste it because you took made a little bit of it with the alternative, and then you made it with the regular dish inform ingredients that you normally make it with, and you see if it tastes better. Now, if it tastes better with the healthier option, and something that won't be detrimental, like that won't raise your blood pressure. If you have congestive heart failure, it won't make you retain fluid in your legs or retain fluid in your heart, and then or retain fluid in your lungs, and then you end up in the hospital and you have to be on diuretics to make get all that fluid off, and you're miserable and you're missing your family and you're upset and you're like, why, doc, why are my legs swollen, why I can't breathe, why am I coughing up this frothy mucus, and doc, why can't I sleep, and why can't I breathe, and why do I have this headache? And it's because you didn't want to you did, like I said, you want to try the alternatives, so that way you have more time now to bond, and you have more time to spend and see those grandchildren running around and see them playing with all the toys and excited about what you gave them. So again, that is something to consider. And then when you taste it and you find that it's better, then you have, or if it tastes good, because some people don't even know. Like, I'll give you an example. I had someone who never knew that sodas, the alternative to sodas, taste just like a soda, or they never knew it because they never tried it. They never knew that ice cream zero sugar tastes just like ice cream, and there was no big difference. Now there are some, when I think about it and I actually tasted them, there are some that do taste a little off. They don't taste the same. And you can kind of have a difference. Like, it's just, I don't know, and it's not the substance, but it's also like the just it's not, your taste buds are not used to it. Now I understand, and of course this has been studied, that you can train your taste buds. So these little things here can be trained for what you put in your mouth. So if you get used to tasting the regular ice cream, then of course you go to the different ice cream. And when you go to the different ice cream, guess what happens? You start to feel like, oh my goodness, it tastes different. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. It's something to consider. You definitely want zero sugar. Yeah, that will be great, especially with diabetics and diabetes. And we can get into that more later, because I am going to do a series on diabetes. I am going to do a series on hypertension, just the chronic conditions, especially the ones that we see a lot go into the hospital. People that we see a lot, they actually end up, not just in the hospital, but also, I see them having a lot of complications, like when they can't have a good quality of life, or they can't do the things they used to do because of their chronic conditions, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to touch on a lot of different topics. There's a lot of things that I've seen with patients. There are a lot of things that I've seen with people who, um, a lot of people that I've seen that with people who are having problems, just struggling. And then it's funny because once you start having, I found that in my experience with patients is that once I start seeing one chronic condition, they end up with two, three, four, if there's not really a lifestyle change or they don't get a handle on their chronic conditions, or they don't follow up with their primary enough, or they don't talk to their primary enough on their chronic conditions. So they are, of course, struggling. And then that it just gets worse and worse. It's like a sequela. It's just meaning that it over and over and over again. Like it's kind of like building a stumbling block. So you got blocks on the floor, and you have one block, and then you put another block, and you put another block, and another block, another block, and you build it up until all of it falls down. And when that happens, you can't do anything. You're just broken into pieces, and life is just horrible, and it's just it just crashes. So again, so my goal is to make sure that I give very good information as much as possible. Now, you may have heard it before. You definitely may have heard some of the things I've said over and over and over again, and I'm maybe reiterating. I may be talking to the choir, but then there are a lot of people that just don't know, maybe misinformed. There are people that just don't have access to the internet. They don't have access to, resources, or if they do go on the internet, they're reading inappropriate and wrong information, because everything, of course, on the internet is not true, and we know that. I'm going to try to prevent, and help you with not knowing the myths. There's a lot of myths around it. The myths that people talk about, and the myths that, like, let me give you one example. I actually had somebody tell me that COVID was a bacteria. Now, I honestly don't see how. Now, possibly if I was to go and, I guess, try to grow it in a petri dish and see if I get anything, then maybe I can see that. I'm not sure where that came from, but the whole mechanism behind COVID and the virus and how a virus responds and acts, it just doesn't follow the laws of science. Now, there are laws of science. Like, let me tell you, God made laws of science. He you can't go outside of that. Like, for example, and there's this thing called Pasteur, right? Pasteur was the one that made the lab pasteurize, and it came up with that and antibiotics. And one of the things he did was he grew bacteria, or he grew something in a pasture, which is it looks like a carafe, I guess you would say. And we have in the lab, we have a pasture, so it looks like a carafe dish, and you can put chemicals in there, and you probably seen it on like labs, or you probably saw it on some of, like labs, like if you see science things on television, you're watching it, and people are mixing things. They have these things called like carafe looking, right? And so Pasteur had that, and he grew bacteria in it. Now, one of the things I realized, and this is how I know, you can't make something out of nothing. Like for example, you can't just make water without utilizing hydrogen and oxygen, like elements. Okay. Water just don't come out. Just water, and that's it. Um, you can't just make air, it just comes out. So, and there are these laws of science that are there, that are true, and they have been proven to be true. So, in the design of coronavirus, which is the name of COVID, there can't be, you can't grow COVID in a petri dish. Now, we can design a COVID. That's true. We can design it from a lab, meaning we can create a virus. Absolutely. People have, when we have specific, and we call it DNA, which is a long name. It's a long scientific name. You just want to stick to DNA and RNA because that's the simplest way to remember it. But there is DNA there, and when we have DNA, um, it has a code, and we're able to, in from like a laboratory standpoint, we're able to manipulate it and cut it up, insert other codes into that. And the way we do that, we do that in like little dishes, and little ways that we have these little machines, and we can create, yes, we can create out of DNA, out of RNA, a virus. We absolutely can. Now, but a virus can't grow in a petri dish over a few days like a bacteria can. So, like, take for instance, we have this thing called strep. Okay, you probably heard of strep throat, strep, right? I love strep to talk about it because everybody knows about it, and they know about it because my throat is killing me, right? You can't barely talk. Like, some people come in, they got hot potato. We call it hot potato voice. It's like, I can't, doc. I have this horrible sore throat, and it hurts so bad. And I've been like this for a couple of days. And I say, well, did anybody else have it? Yeah, my granddaughter came over and she coughed on me. Or, you drank something after somebody and didn't know it. Got a new love, and yay, everybody's happy. I got a new love and I drank from a straw. Now my straw hurt. Anyway, so streptococcus is a bacteria. Um, Strep throat is a bacteria. It has a a place, or um what is that called? It has a medium. We call it a medium. So your throat will become like what we call a medium, which is what you saw in biology in what we call a petri dish. And it was just like this little flat area, and it was colored like red or orange or blue or whatever. And it's there, and it had the right nutrients, and it had, because bacteria are like almost like human beings, quite honestly. If you think about it, they are like human beings. And so they actually have, life to them. They actually live. They're living. They're microbes. They're living organisms. Yes, they're live. I think bacteria can talk. I've never known if they had voices. Nah. Anyway, but you remember how they have like commercials, or you have those little, like, marketing things where you see the bacteria are walking, and they're like, hey, 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 hey. Anyway, so all right, that's off the stuff. Anyway, I was just thinking about it. So you have the bacteria, and the bacteria, it grows on a medium, and it's a bacteria because, quite honestly, actually, you can see it. Can you believe that? You can actually see the bacteria. Like, they come in all kinds of, like, you can see it in green or yellow or red, and or white. It's like whitish. We can see that. And I wish I had like a picture I could show you, but when I learn this thing, I can share it and show you. But the medium of it, and it's so cool because then, you know it's there, and you're like, oh, that's bacteria. And the bacteria don't come off there and say, yeah, hey, I'm bacteria. But anyway, COVID, you're not going to be able to see that in a petri dish. It's a virus. Viruses don't have those capabilities to be seen in a petri dish. Okay. Viruses are codes. They are just pretty much generic codes. So, in any event, I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share some information with you. I wanted to be able to talk to you today. I did see somebody jump in. Maybe they had a question, maybe they didn't, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that no one really had any questions this evening. I wanted to make it open so that people can talk to me, to make you know that I'm here and have loads of information I would love to share with you, things I would love to clarify for you. Please don't be afraid. I know you probably don't know me. A lot of people do know me. But again, I'm here and I wanted to offer this, and I'm looking forward to having some discussions where people, they are able to then, talk to me and feel comfortable with talking to me, because I love to give the Reader's Digest version. See, I don't want to give you the medical jargon version. I want to break down that medical jargon for you. I want to get through and cut through that, because that can be very confusing. You're like, what? And I know it. I know it. I see it on your faces. I see it on your face when you say, what? I see it when I'm even speaking, and I'm speaking to people, and I'm speaking to you and I'm telling you, and I know I'm explaining it where it makes a little more sense. And you're looking at me like, what? So I can only imagine how you feel when someone comes to you and they say something like otolaryngologist. I want you to, we'll say ear, nose, or throat, but or somebody that comes to you and they say sarcoma, and you're like, what? Yeah, you have a leiomyosarcoma. And you're like, I do. And then they go around and maybe even show you in there, and you're hearing, I think about it. I think about the Peanut Gang, right? So, like Charlie Brown, or when his teacher was talking and it was like, wah, 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 wah. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm cracked. It's just, I'm sorry. But no, please excuse my unprofessionalism. I just love to have fun. I just want you to have fun and I want you to smile and laugh. But I'm like, wah, 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 wah. And that's kind of what you're hearing when we're talking to you. It's wah, 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 wah. And then on top of that, you have the time factor. So you're there, you're like, we're holding on to the doorknob. You know, we are standing, you're like, yeah, but we're like inching to go out the door, or we're looking at our watch, or somebody calls on somebody's cell phone, or, hold on 1 second, give me a second, those kind of things. And that is frustrating. Okay. That's frustrating. And you here have this serious medical diagnosis, which can change your life, and you are scared, you are afraid, you feel lonely, you feel rejected. You go home and you got this big bottle of, you don't know what, hydrochlorothiazide. Let's just say that, try to say that for a size. And you're like, and I think the worst thing I have ever heard, what I think sometimes irritates me, is when I see a patient's list and their medications are listed and they have the wrong reason. I've had so many people tell me, I'm taking this medicine for this. And I'm like, you are? Are you sure? How do you know? Who told you that? And when they told you, did you ask them? Did you give them the information? Did you? So anyway, I just have a lot to share. I would like to help you. Let me help you. You're such a wonderful person, and you have a lot going for you, and you have a lot of life to live. You have a lot of life left, and you don't deserve to be treated just any old kind of way. You deserve to be treated right. You deserve to have somebody that you can rely on and depend on, that can give you some good knowledge, because I had to study it and I had to learn it, and I learned it for you. I learned it for you because I want to make sure that you are protected, and that um, you feel reassured and understand that you're making the right decision, or you're not making the right decision, or, you know get rid of that confusion, that, when you go to sleep at night, you want to sleep well. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to sign off. I said a lot today. I'm hoping that I will go ahead, and I wasn't going to actually tape this and live stream it. I was going to just stop it, but hey, I'm going to live stream it anyway, and with hopes that when I schedule the next one that I'll have people that want to ask questions. If you like what I said or something really triggered you, made you feel good, then please go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can be a part and just, get in with, maybe you'll be the one that will ask all the questions, and that'll be great too. It'll just be you and I. But I want you to know that I'm here and let's take advantage of it. It's pretty good. And you can fact check me, you can go back and ask questions, and you can come back and give me some insight, which is great. We can have that dialogue, which will actually help, and that will be great too. This is a two-way thing, and this is a team effort, and I want to be a part of your medical team. So I hope you're going to have a happy, healthy night, that you're going to sleep well, and that you'll have sweet dreams, because dreams are a part of your medical moments. And I'm hoping that tomorrow morning when we wake up that we're going to get to moving and get to moving our limbs, and that blood pump, heart pumping, and that blood flowing. That blood pumping. Well, blood does pump, but anyway. Okay, the blood flowing, and we're going to have a wonderful day tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow to say hello and give you a little bit of my short moments, my medical moments tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll do a live stream tomorrow. We'll see. I think this was good tonight, and I gave you a lot of good, you know, information that I think you could chew on, and, chew the meat, spit out the bones. That's what I like to say. Um, and that meat is good. That's some protein. But no, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, all right. So with that, this is Dr. Louella Ayoka, and this is my medical moments live.